think that we can all appreciate that this trailer needed to be padded just a little bit because they've had so many trailers at this point and there's only so much of the movie they can show. I'd rather have a little bit of padding than have the movie ruined. And I think they had just enough new teases to get everybody excited again. I'm very much looking forward to this film. And I think it does remind you of the injustice that Scarlett Johansson had to wait so damn long for her own movie. So don't be a jerk and stop getting interested at the last minute. All right, so let's break it down. There's a lot for us to go over here. I'm excited. All right, here we go. So we open on Budapest. Hawkeye, I would love it if Hawkeye showed up. The rumor is though that Robert Downey Jr. is going to show up. So when she's talking about how there's a lot you don't know about me, I wouldn't be surprised if it was to Tony Stark. Tony Stark. I love that guy. I don't know why everybody turned on him at the end and everybody started to think he was uncool. That was uncool. All right, so here she is. She's at a train station. She's going home. They say you can't go home again. And she's like, I can. Watch me. Although it's clearly there's a lot of stuff that's left unsaid, and they're going to say it in this movie. So I love this classic, birds flying in the courtyard shot. It's so right out of these types of movies. She's like, I lived a lot of lives. Now, here we go. This is the padding. So, but I think it's great. I love being reminded not only of her legacy in the MCU, but her fantastic different fashions and hair choices. And now, though, when we look at this movie, we're like, man, what was it like to have to work with Joss Whedon? But she did it. She pushed through. She looks fantastic there. Boy, Cap's suit looks so cheap compared to today. It's hilarious. Looks like he just has the sock on his head. All right, so she looks fantastic. I loved the way she looked with that. I thought the short hair that she had in this movie was fantastic. So she's got the Civil War blowout. The Russo brothers always give her a blowout. Or at the end, they gave her a braid. But mostly, she had a blowout. She looks great there, too. Wow. Way to have perfect eye makeup before the big fight, Natasha. See, she used the shield. I think people made kind of a big deal when it happened. I mean, it's no picking up Mjolnir, to be fair. She and Cap teaming up. I liked their friendship. They're both, they're both spies that don't really have any personal lives for very different reasons, but are dedicated to the life. I liked also she's a great character, and I thought that she was used, she wasn't used nearly as much as she should have been, but when they did use her, they used her well, and in Winter Soldier pointing out, he's like up front line soldier, and she's a spy who works behind the lines. And a lot of her rubbed off on him, as you can see from the way he acted after that movie. So there's that great shot from Age of Ultron. She looks great there. I wish they had goosed her physical abilities like Harley Quinn is supposed to be, just a bit, because it's hard to think how she could compete. I mean, that's always the joke that people unfortunately make about the character. What can you do? And I wish that they had, they're supposed to be like a Black Widow serum that maybe is the level of the Super Soldier serum, but supposed to be, a little bit of a boost. So there's the fateful mission where she said, see you in a minute, and she never came back. Oh. I think I'm a fan of there being consequences in these movies, though. There need to be consequences. And you can do flashbacks like this. And everyone always finds a way back. So here she is training with the Black Widow program. And then here's, of course, when she wouldn't let Hawkeye die because he had a family and she wanted to make the sacrifice. I'm glad they didn't show her body and just faded out here when she made the choice. That was an important thing. It was her decision. It was her choice to do it. She didn't get fridged. She made a sacrifice, as so many male characters often do. This July, I love the red on white, which they use with her herself. If you read any of the Black Widow comics, they're only okay. But they've done a great job, particularly with the covers of the visuals and her, her flash of red hair. Maybe not the greatest choice for a spy, but her flash of red hair, and they've done a good job artistically of how it can stand out in certain moments. So I think this movie does a good job doing the same thing. They're like, oh, you can't. Good luck losing Black Widow in a crowd. So here she lands in her gorgeous white outfit. Now we go back. I guess here she had a different color. She had blue hair, but you can see the red underneath. Now this is hilarious. For those of you who always wanted Mila Jovovich to be Black Widow, well, in a way she is, because this is her daughter, Ever Anderson, who is the upcoming Wendy in Wendy and Peter Pan for now Disney Plus. Although I have to say, she looks pretty big already to be Wendy, and this was filmed a couple of years ago, so I'll be curious to see how big Peter and Wendy are supposed to be in that upcoming film. But isn't that funny? So this is Ever Anderson as she sees if she can have a Hollywood career. And she doesn't look that much like Scarlett Johansson to me, to be honest with you. I don't buy her as a younger version of Scarlett Johansson. At first, when the first in the trailer, my first thought was, now who's this? But it's supposed to be young Natasha. But my other second thought, as I did say in my trailer reaction out loud, was it's a Run Lola Run reference, and that's a fantastic German film. If you haven't seen Run Lola Run, that actress went on to star in the first Bourne movie, and that's unfortunately all she ever really got to do. But Run Lola Run is a great movie. So the fact that director Kate Shortland did a reference to it, I think is just a really good, a really great single piece of evidence as to why it was a good idea to hire her. Kate Shortland, in case you don't remember, because we've talked about this before, but Kate Shortland directed a really good film called Lore. It was very low budget, small movie, foreign film, but it was about a young girl and how her family indoctrinated her to the Nazis, and then what it was like to see that facade fall at the end of World War II, and for her to discover that she was part of a really horrible group. So doesn't that sound a lot like what happened to Natasha Romanoff when she discovered the Black Widow program was not all that? Although it seems from this movie that she never was having a particularly good time as part of the program, except for when she was with her spy family, which we'll see in just a moment. So here she is, young girl. Now here she is, an adult. And that's her little sister. I love that. I think that's so great. Her family. So she does have a family. And this is a really touching moment. Mila Jovovich's daughter looks a lot like Mila Jovovich. So you can clearly see that she's supposed to be having Florence Pugh as a little girl next to her. And here's David Harbour saying, "My girls are the toughest there are." I love David Harbour so much. I recently read that he was going to give up acting, at least in movies and TV, after Stranger Things. And he didn't even take Stranger Things very seriously because he didn't think it was going to work out. And now it's made him a superstar. I read some disappointing spoilers about this movie. I hope they're not true. They probably are, but it makes me upset. But I love David Harbour. I'm very excited to see him here. So he's clearly, he really was very nice as the dad of this family. It seems Rachel Weisz, maybe not as much. But here he is today as Red Guardian, after being in prison. He's got the Russian prison tattoos. He looks fantastic. I think you look great, David Harbour. What a man to love. I love it. He looks great. So here they are, two sisters. I think that's nice. Not only sisters because of the Black Widow program, boy, they seem to share a lot of clothes together, don't they? Not only sisters of the Black Widow program, but sisters of the spy family that they were in. So I think that's just fantastic. I think it's a really nice thing to do with Yelena Belova. Florence Pugh looks amazing. She's going to be the new Black Widow. I got to do it. I can't say Florence Pugh without doing it. Pew, 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 pew. I just think she's going to be a great new Black Widow. She's supposed to show up not only in Hawkeye, but I told you I heard she's going to be in Falcon and Winter Soldier. Maybe she wants some of those vials. That looks great. Her secrets. Oh, here's Rachel Weisz being like, oh, sorry about all that. She, of course, her character is supposed to be a villain in the comics, so we'll see what happens to her character. This looks like an airplane, actually. So she's taken off, looks like it's just the two of them. She said, I was following the orders. So, it's like, you betrayed our family. So they're apparently living as like a fake family for a while, which I think is very interesting. That reminds me of the Skrulls storyline from the recent Skrull comic, and hiding in plain sight. So I'll be curious to see what the parameters of this mission were. So she's like, none of it was real. And I love this line. So hold on. So Scarlett Johansson's Black Widow says, none of it was real. And here, the Russia's tearing them apart. Mother Russia says, no mother for you. We're the only mother you know. And then I love this line. Okay, so hold on. We're not there yet. It's coming. And so here's the current modern day Black Widows in training. They look great. We've got 3 groups of all female soldiers. We've got the Amazons over at Warner Brothers. We've got the Black Widow program. And now we also have the Dora Milaje. And I like having them show up all over the place. I hope that the Amazons eventually get to that point. I love that. There it is. Florence Pugh says it was real to me. You're like, there's your Oscar-nominated actress. She's so talented. I loved her so much in Little Women. If you haven't seen Little Women, you should watch Little Women. It's so good. Good job, Amy Pascal. So they have this great car chase. And look, that's a Black Widow going after them. She also looks great. She also can drive the hell out of a motorcycle. So look at her there. Oh, very fast and furious. She looks great. I love seeing a woman do this. This is so cool. Sorry, I know some of you might be like, I just threw up in my mouth a little bit. Well, swallow it, because this is fantastic, and I love seeing it. That's so cool. And I like the idea that Black Widows would occasionally show up everywhere. Just as, you're supposed to have Amazons occasionally show up in Man's World too. And just like the Dora Milaje just showed up in Falcon and Winter Soldier. Ayo did. So here's Florence Pugh's apartment. Bit of a mess. Oh, look at her. She slams her right into the cabinet. That's fantastic. Oh, big siblings fighting. Now, some of this stuff we saw and like this ceiling blows out, and we know from another trailer that the Black Widows drop in. Now here's Ray Winstone playing our big bad. Does a man run the Black Widow program? It's supposed to be a woman. Maybe it's him and Rachel Weisz. So there's Taskmaster. Now, is Taskmaster part of the Black Widow program or something? Is he now a Russian operative? I think that's very interesting. So I like that everyone else always takes his hood off for him. I'm like, what's wrong with your own arms, buddy? He's like, I'm just that cool. Or maybe he's an anti-hero. Maybe he's under their control too. So here's our bridge fight. I think that's Taskmaster. I think it's hard to tell. He has a swimmer's build. So sometimes he and Black Widow look a little bit alike. So I like this. I think that's him because that's his sword on the pavement. That's very cool. Way to make an entrance, buddy. So yeah, Ray Winstone's like, bring her home. That's great. His hood looks a little bit like a pop collar there. All right. Now, the cool thing about Taskmaster, by the way, I was looking into John Walker, and in the comics, he was trained by Taskmaster because, it was an interesting use of Taskmaster because Taskmaster knows everybody's moves. He could train someone in the fighting style of someone in particular if they wanted it. So John Walker was trained to fight like Captain America by Taskmaster. I thought that was a really cool idea. So here they are on the bridge. I'm like, stop firing directly into his shield. Jeez, move the gun. So here's that tank shot. And I like that she says, put your seatbelt on. And she's like, oh, you're such a mother. I like the family dynamic here. I think that's nice to have for Natasha. She finally has it. Look at that beautiful European street. Aw, yay, too bad. There's going to be a giant explosion on it. Boom. And look at that cut. Very nicely cut, trailer editor. Now, Natasha jumps through the flames. For once, her red hair blends in, but she's out. That's so cool. That reminds me of one of my favorite shots from the Black Widow comic panels. It was the very first panel, or one of the very first panels in the first issue. I was like, that's cool. That was like the best the comic ever got. So there she goes. She's like, whoa, Mondays. I hate Mondays. So she seems to have a parachute. Put that on, Natasha. Maybe that's why she and Taskmaster are fighting. So, boy, she's got a long way to fall. They can have a whole fight during it. Now, boy, she's in the air a lot for someone who can't fly. Now, is she trying to help that Black Widow, or is that Black Widow trying to drag her down? So, I love the way they jump into this. Look how well this is done. Florence Pugh jumps and leads with her shoulder so that she doesn't hurt herself on the glass. Good training! Natasha almost doesn't make it. So here they are. Look how Taskmaster uses his sword to slow himself down. I love it! Very well thought out. The visual effects on this are quite good. Not quite Warner Brothers good, because I can tell that's not really Scarlett Johansson, or at least she's digitally enhanced. But I don't care, I'll take it. So look at that. Fighting in the sky. Does she still have it looks like she lost the parachute. Damn it. Are there any others falling around there? I'll be interested to see how they get to the bottom. And then I love that intro. Oh, that's like how she looked in her first appearance in Iron Man 2 when she walked down the hallway. Her worst look, in my opinion. But I love the callback. And then the Russian choir doing the Marvel theme, as many of you said, and as I reacted in my trailer reaction, is like one of the coolest things ever. Oh, I mean, it makes her character just infinitely, immediately even cooler. Look, there's like explosions around her logo there. They're like, July 9th. I'll be there! Oh, yeah! Experience it in theaters or order on Premiere Access. Additional free required. You bet there is. I can't wait. Great trailer. It still seems a little early to me for a July movie. I guess because Godzilla vs. Kong is doing so well. They're like, hey, don't forget, a Marvel movie's coming. They're like, maybe we shouldn't have moved. I don't think they should have moved, to be honest with you. I think it was a mistake to move. But I don't care. I'm excited. It's coming. Definitely on July 9th. All right, share your own thoughts down below. Thanks for going over this with me. Subscribe today. And of course, as always, you can check out some more videos right now.